A long, long time ago, in the rich, beautiful village of Chisasa, there stood a great tree in the center of the village. The tree was older than the houses and older than the narrow paths that wound through the farms. The elders of Chisasa used to say that the tree had been there long before the village itself. But the tree was not just old, it was special. The people of Chisasa called it Muti Unopa, the tree that gives. Every year, when the winds of the new season arrived, each villager was allowed to stand beneath its branches and make one wish. Only one. Because the wish came only once each year, the people chose carefully. Some wished for rain when the fields were dry. Some wished for healthy cattle. Others wished for strong harvests or healing when sickness came. Sometimes villagers even used their wish for someone else, a neighbor who had fallen on hard times, or a family struggling to survive. And because the wishes were thoughtful, the village of Chisasa lived in balance. There was food in the fields, laughter in the evenings, and peace among the people. One year, just a few days before the season of wishes was to begin, a stranger arrived in Chisasa. His name was Chigo. He came with his wife and children, carrying little more than their belongings and the dust of a long journey. The villagers of Chisasa were kind people. They believed no traveler should be turned away. So they welcomed Chigo and his family. They gave them food. They helped build them a house. Some villagers even used their yearly wish so that the new family would find good land and settle peacefully in their new home. No one questioned why Chigo had come. The people of Chisasa believed kindness was stronger than suspicion. But Chigo was watching. He watched how people gathered beneath Muti Unopa each year. He watched how carefully they chose their wishes. And slowly, he began to understand something the villagers had never questioned. The true power of the village did not lie in its fields or its houses. It lay in the tree. One evening, inside the house the villagers had helped him build, Chigo spoke quietly with his wife. "That tree," he said, "holds more power than anyone in this village." His wife looked toward the center of Chisasa. "What are you thinking?" she asked. Chigo lowered his voice. "What if that power belonged to us?" Late one night, when the village slept and the moon hung low in the sky, Chigo and his wife crept quietly toward the great tree. No one saw them. No one heard the first strike of the axe. They cut and cut until Muti Unopa finally fell. From the fallen tree, Chigo took one strong branch. He tied the rest of the trunk behind his cattle and dragged it back to his compound. Before returning home, he carefully wiped away the marks the wood had left on the ground so that no trail would lead back to him. Inside his compound, Chigo chopped the tree into firewood and burned it in his own house. By morning, nothing remained of the once mighty tree except the stump in the center of the village. Meanwhile, Chigo planted the branch he had taken and carefully grafted it into the soil inside his compound. Soon, the branch began to grow. When the villagers awoke the next morning, the great tree was gone. Only the stump remained. Confusion spread through Chisasa. People gathered around the empty place where the tree had once stood. Who would do such a thing? They asked. Nothing like this had ever happened before. The tree had always been there. Some villagers wondered if they had angered the spirits of the land. Others feared that they had somehow done something wrong. But no one knew the truth. As the seasons passed, the land slowly began to change. The fields grew dry. The harvests became smaller. The energy of the village felt different, as if something important had been taken away. Meanwhile, inside the walls of Chigo's compound, the branch he had planted continued to grow. And Chigo began to use it. Each year he stood beneath the tree and made his wish. But unlike the people of Chisasa, Chigo wished only for things that benefited himself. He wished for more cattle. He wished for larger lands. He wished for storehouses filled with grain. Soon he became richer than anyone in the village. As the land around Chisasa struggled to produce food, people began going to Chigo's compound. They worked in his fields. They cared for his animals. They did whatever he demanded. Some worked from sunrise to sunset just to receive a small portion of grain. Some worked only to receive a little milk so their children would not go hungry. Chigo enjoyed the power. Each year he grew more obsessed with it. But beneath the soil in the center of Chisasa, something was happening. The old roots of Muti Unopa had never died. Slowly, quietly, the stump began to grow again. So one day, as a little boy named Chikara was heading home along the narrow village path, he noticed something unusual. The stump. Small green shoots had begun to grow from it, and they were growing quickly. Chikara stared in amazement. He had never seen anything like it before. Without wasting a moment, he turned and ran as fast as he could. "Mother! Mother!" he called when he reached home. "The tree! The stump! It is growing again!" His mother saw the urgency in his eyes and did not ignore him. She followed him back to the center of the village and saw the shoots for herself. At once she went to find one of the wise women of Chisasa. When the wise woman saw the shoots, her expression grew serious. She understood what this meant. Without delay, she called for a meeting with the council of the wise elders, men and women alike. That evening they gathered in secret and spoke quietly about what had been discovered. "The tree is returning," one of them said. "But if Chigo discovers it, he will take it again," another warned. So they made a plan. They placed trusted villagers to guard the stump quietly, day and night, and they waited while the young tree slowly grew stronger. When the tree had grown strong enough, the villagers gathered together once more. They had learned a valuable lesson. Power like that should never belong to one person alone. So they stood in a great circle around the young tree, elders and children, men and women, all with hands joined. The wise woman of Chisasa stepped forward and spoke. "What is taken by one may harm many. What is guarded by many may protect all." Then, without breaking their circle, the people of Chisasa made their wishes together. First, they wished that the tree in Chigo's compound would fall, and that it would never grow again. Then they made one final wish, that never again would the tree answer the call of a single person, and that any wish granted must be for the good of all. That very night, a great whistling wind rose without warning. It rushed across the land and tore through Chigo's compound with terrible force. The tree groaned and twisted, then split with a thunderous crack. Its branches snapped, its trunk shattered, and its roots were wrenched from deep within the earth until the entire tree was torn free. When the wind fell silent, nothing remained.
No trunk, no roots, no trace at all, only bare and broken ground. And though many seasons passed, no shoot ever grew there again. From that day on, the people of Chisasa kept their tree carefully guarded. It was never allowed to grow too large, and no one was permitted to approach it alone. Whenever its power was needed, the villagers gathered together, and only by their shared voice could its gift be called upon. And so the tree still stands in the village of Chisasa today, always small, always watched. For the people of Chisasa learned that power is safest when it belongs to everyone, and when no single person can claim it alone.